You have been a very vocal opponent of the proposed design of the Columbia River crossing between Vancouver and Portland. Why do you oppose this project?
I oppose the project primarily because it contains light rail as one of the major design elements, and Clark County residents have been very adamantly opposed to light rail, and frankly Clark County doesn't have the density to support light rail. Most recently in the 2013 election, Clark County voters by an overwhelming margin of 68% voted to have a say on whether or not light rail should come to Clark County. So my district is not in favor of light rail on that bridge. It doesn't make financial sense for anyone in Clark County. One of the big issues is the lack of oversight over the project. There's, just as an example, there's about $20 million that is missing. WashDOT wrote out checks and nobody knows where that money went, and that's really concerning to me. And I think that that project needs to have broad community support before we could proceed with it, and it doesn't right now. So,
what is the current status of the Columbia River project?
Well, on our side of the bridge, it's effectively non-existent. I mean, the governor put a halt to it in Washington and said, we're not going to proceed. There is a lot of discussion on the Oregon side with a path forward of Oregon going it alone.
So is it a good idea that Oregon would go it alone, and if not, why not?
I don't believe Oregon has the authority to build a bi-state project that connects both of our states, not without the express consent of leaders in our state. And the legislature holds the purse in Washington, and as such, we should have authority for setting those tolls. And in a scenario where Oregon goes it alone, they have all of the toll setting authority, which leaves us with virtually no impact on those officials setting those tolls. For example, if Oregon legislators got really overzealous and jacked up the tolls sky high, we as Clark County voters would have no way to remove those Oregon legislators from office as sort of punishment for not being receptive to the taxpayers. So that is really troublesome to me, that we would cede all of our tolling authority, particularly based on the fact that about probably 66% of the bridge users are going to be our residents. So that's very troubling to me.
So what do you believe is the best course for this project?
The best course is to go back to the drawing board. We need to get this right. It's too important of a project. It represents a huge transportation project that's not only going to connect the region, but it's going to connect Mexico to Canada. And on a project of this magnitude, we need to make sure we get it right, and we need to make sure that we have a project that everybody can get behind and rally behind on both sides of the river, not just Washington, not just Oregon. And I think to achieve that, we need to sit down, and to that end, I've already met with stakeholders from all members of the Clark County delegation, including the 49th District, and we are now beginning to sit down in a reasonable manner and discuss a path forward to solve this transportation corridor problem.
So if people would like to get more information about the Columbia River Crossing project, or to provide more information to you, their input about the project, how would they go about doing that?
The best way is to contact me through the legislative hotline at 1-800-562-6000, or they can email me at liz.pike@ledge.wa.gov. Also, my website is representativelizpike.com.